everyone, it's good to see all these friendly faces and a few new faces. Hope to meet the new ones soon. So I'll make this, this will be a really easy topic. It's all about how to get published as an author in an industry magazine. I'm going to focus on QRCA, but the sort of guidance I'm going to give you can apply to any magazine, not just QRCA. And getting published is easy. So I will share my screen here. Let's see. Everybody see that?
Yes, we can.
All right. So how to prepare and pitch for an industry article or any other trade magazine besides QRCA, or including QRCA. Oops, sorry. Sorry, one quick second. Share. What happened to it? It went away, right? Now it's back. Is this correct? Have I got the right screen?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. All right. Sorry. All right, so a little bit about me. A lot of you guys already know, but I started off my career in advertising at large advertising agencies, specifically TBWA, Chiat, where I worked on big global brands, including brands like Nissan and Infiniti, Toyota, Lexus. I also worked on a bunch of small pioneering brands like Viking River Cruises and Hollywood Bowl and Legoland and other small brands. But what makes me uniquely qualified to talk about today's topic is that for the past 5 years, I've been very involved in QRCA. Especially, most specifically, I've been the co-managing editor of QRCA Views magazine. Most of you probably are aware of QRCA Views, but if not, it is well, first of all, what is QRCA? QRCA is a global association of the world's most innovative, collaborative, and passionate market research professionals. We are dedicated to maximizing the power of market research, and our membership is comprised of practitioners, suppliers, and end clients. And then what is QRCA Views? So it's a standalone publication. We are the world's only publication dedicated to qualitative market research. There's no other publication out there that does it. And our goal is to promote excellence in the field. And the way we do that is we find authors that have something to tell market researchers or market researchers that want to share their knowledge and passion with other market researchers. And we cover a variety of topics from how-tos to various topics like semiotics and neuroscience. I mean, it covers everything. We do business. Any topic that affects our market research industry, we cover it. QRCA Views, we are a 2-time award-winning publication. We've won the Apex Award for Publication Excellence twice. We are a quarterly publication. We have spring, summer, fall, and winter issues. So it's not monthly, but it's every 3 months. And is mailed as a no-cost benefit to all QRCA members. So if you're not a QRCA member, reach out to me and I'll help you get to be a member. Also, we have complimentary digital subscriptions that are available to non-members. So if you're not a member of QRCA, you can still read the magazine online. But if you want a hard copy, you have to be a member. The readership, it reaches 10,000 of the brightest qualitative researchers in the industry. And each month we get roughly 15,000 page views on QRCAviews.org. So we get a lot of eyeballs, specifically people who are in the industry, both researchers, practitioners, clients, and suppliers. So if you want to reach these people, QRCA Views is a way to reach them. This is our team. It's a very small team. We're all QRCA members. In order to be on the team, you have to be a QRCA member. And if anybody's interested in joining the team, let me know. We're always looking for more hands, but we're a team of volunteers. None of us get paid. We dedicate our time to publishing the magazine, and it's crazy fun, I think. So Tamara's our editor-in-chief. She's been the editor-in-chief for a few years now. And then we have 2 co-managing editors, and I'm one of the managing editors, Panel is the other one. And we have a team of feature editors who run specific columns or features. And this is our team. I started in Pablo's place as a feature editor in Toolbox, and then now I run half the magazine. And there's a few people on the call today that have written for QRCA Views, and there's actually one of the editors. I think Bob Walker is on the call today. He runs the Quant Lens, which is a great column that teaches qual people how to do quant. It's an amazing column. So I've always been interested in quant since I don't do much of it, and his column is great because it focuses on teaching qual people how to do quant. It's great. Here is a list of the types of columns or features that we offer in our magazine. These are in every single issue. These in no particular order other than alphabetical. We do book reviews, and so we focus on recently published books that are related to the market research industry and business management. So it's not always just about market research. It's also about running your business. We have a column entitled Business Matters, which is written by our colleagues and designed to help research businesses and consultants operate their business. So this is all about, it's not how to do research, it's about how to run your business. So it can be like things about taxes, or anything about running a business. It would be in Business Matters. We have a column on global research, which focuses strictly on how qualitative research is done in other markets besides North America. So it can be, there's articles about Japan, research in Japan and Russia and Brazil, all kinds of countries. But each month or each issue is a different country or a different part of the world. We do an industry focus column, and that's where articles take a deep dive into different industry verticals. So it might be automotive, or it might be retail, or it might be clothing manufacturing. But it's all looked at from a market research perspective, and it's about best practices in that individual vertical. We have a luminaries column, which is where we do an interview with recognized industry leaders. We also run a podcast, and in the article we publish the conversation, and then you can also listen to the podcast on qrcaviews.org. We have a really interesting provocative column called Schools of Thought, and it's the articles in that column take a very daring and look at provocative and controversial topics in the market research industry. We have Quant Lens, which I talked about earlier, led by and sometimes written by Bob Walker. We have Toolbox, and we usually have two to three of these individual articles per issue, and these are designed to illuminate current and trending methods, techniques, and tools. So this one's a very hands-on, practical type of article that is about teaching you and informing you how to do your job, so to speak, and how to do it better with new techniques and new methods and new tools. We have a Travel Wise column headed up by a guy named Nick Wise, and he has actually a PhD in travel. And so he writes this article about how to get the most out of your travel experiences when you're traveling for research. So he talks about how to use the culture of where you're traveling and bring it into your research, but also how to do like fun things in the cities and how to find the fun things to do in the cities that you travel to. I think in the most recent issue he did Japan, and it's very interesting. There's a trends column. This is all about emerging trends in marketing, advertising, and the market research industry. So if you want to learn about what's coming, these are industry leaders talking about what's new and what's coming. And then we just started this. Every issue, we're selecting a single article and publishing it in Spanish. Right now, it's only for online publication, but we're also considering more languages. We've been offered to publish it in German and in Portuguese. So we're considering that, but right now it's only published in Spanish, and it's only online. So the writing process. This is sort of the money page. This is basically, it's super easy. We're gonna hold your hand the entire way through the writing process. All you have to do is come up with an idea that you think people want to know about or you want to tell people about, and we will help you refine that idea into a workable outline and help you through the process of writing the article and then getting it published, which we do all that work for you. So it's way easier than you think. We have a talented group of editors that I showed you earlier. We guide you through the process. We're holding your hand the entire way. All of our featured editors are excellent at writing and reading and editing. So we're not there to help you, to tell you what's wrong. We're there to help you to make your articles better and more relevant to the readers of our magazine. So the overall process, there's sort of three phases. There's the writing process. You start out by first writing you come up with an idea, you reach out to one of us. We will tell you whether or not your idea is workable or not. And once you get the idea approved, you go and write an outline. You submit the outline to us. We work with you on the outline. Basically, the purpose of the outline is to make sure that you have a fully thought out idea in your head that can eventually become an article. The act of writing the outline is just so we can do a gut check on whether or not this is going to turn into something that's worthwhile or not, worth your time and worth our time. So as long as you write a good outline, which can be as little as 3 paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs, or a page, Just the purpose of that is to just make sure that you know what you're talking about. Once you get the outline approved, you then write a first draft, and that whole process is 1 to 2 months. You got 8 weeks to write an outline and write the first draft in your article. Then we go into the editing phase, which first starts off with 1 to 3 rounds with your feature editor. And sometimes there's like very few changes, sometimes there's a lot of changes, but it's 1 to 3 rounds. This is where you do most of the heavy back and forth work. Then once it's approved by the feature editor, it comes to someone like me or Pamela, the managing editor, and we do like 1 or 2 rounds of edits with you. And then once the managing editor is satisfied, it then goes to the editor-in-chief, and she then reads all the articles that are going to go in there. She makes very few changes, but she is looking for places where things can go wrong, or where things might be interpreted in the wrong way. So that's a very easy process, and it takes 1 to 2 months to go through that editing process. And then you're essentially done. Once the editor-in-chief has approved your article, your work is essentially done, and you can sit back, and that's where we take over. And we then go to our editorial staff, and we work with the publisher and the designer, and we start laying out your article, finding images that make sense, finding a theme, a color theme, and fonts and stuff like that, and where it fits in the magazine. So we do all that work for you. You just sit back, and once it's done, we send it off to the publisher, to the printer, and it gets printed. And then once it's done, you get a copy of it, and then we send you a digital PDF of the whole magazine and a digital PDF of just your article. So you have 2 PDFs that you can share, and then links to the live online version. And you can then use those links and PDFs to socialize it on your networks and get yourself recognized as a published author. So it's an easy process, and it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 months to write an article. It's a long time, and we help you through the whole entire process. The benefits of writing an article: you're legit, you're a published author. You can gain exposure among your colleagues across the nation, around the world. Writing and publishing an article boosts your thought leadership credentials. You can now say you're a published author. And you can socialize and publicize your article as much as you want, on however you want, on your website, in emails, on LinkedIn, any way you want. You're allowed to socialize it and use the PDFs and the links in any way you like to develop business leads or just build awareness amongst your clientele. And of course, writing an article with QRC reviews is an excellent way to give back and share your knowledge and give back to the market research industry.
Amazing. So. Well, I think we may just rock out here, Dean. We have another 6 minutes of our call. If that's all right, team, community, what do we want to do? These are great questions, though. But maybe these are questions that folks can think about on their own. Does anybody have any questions for Dean about the process, the writing process, the brain dump, all the things? Any of the things?
I have a question for Dean.
Because I got one too, but go ahead, Sue.
Hi there. Thank you, Dean. That was great learning to know about the wonderful magazine. Do you all give guidance on like how long the article should be by word count and things of that nature?
Yeah, so every article has sort of a different take. It's like Schools of Thought is probably one of our longest. Trends is one of our longest ones. Toolboxes, which are sort of the how-to articles, they're a little bit shorter. They're roughly around 1,500 to 2,500 words. That turns out to be like roughly 4 to 5 pages. The Trends and Schools of Thoughts, those are more like 10 pages of maybe like 8 pages. So they're a little bit longer. Industry, they're all within the short range. Book reviews are the shortest. They're 500 to 1,000 words. Next smallest would be Toolboxes, and there's 2 to 3 of those, and those are super easy. They're just how-to articles, and then they go up from there.
If I could jump in, Dean, I was just going to say, as someone relatively new to Views, the team is great. The process is super supportive, and the editing experience is generally really, it helps you refine your own thinking. So you might have a really great idea, but you can't quite communicate it effectively, or maybe there's something that's not quite clear enough for the audience. You got to remember who the audience is in every case. But think about it. I mean, I would really encourage everyone on this call, on the Zoom screen, to think about it, because content is really important. So back to you.
I think Susan Fader, who was one of our feature editors and managing editors, had a question. Or
it's more of your article can really have legs, because one of the things Viewers articles do at the end of the article, a number of them provide links to previous articles that might be related to the topic. So this is not just a one-time thing where your article is published. Views also will reference it in future articles if it's relevant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while we don't accept articles that are blatantly promoting your own company, you are allowed to mention your company in your articles. And if you have a proprietary type of service or way of doing things, you can mention it in an article. It just can't be a sales article. So you are allowed to mention your company. You are allowed to mention any kind of proprietary ideas you guys have, but it can't be strictly selling your company. You have to have a bigger idea if you want to mention your company. And vendors are also, suppliers are also allowed to write articles. You don't have to be a QRCA member to write an article. So anybody can write an article. It just has to be about or near the market research industry. Any other questions? What about, does anybody have any topics you'd like to see covered? Or if you're interested, reach out to me. And my contact information is there.
I had a question while you do that, Dean. What makes a good idea different from like a damn good idea if I'm going to write an article? Because there's a difference.
Well, the way I think of it is, think of it as value. Think of like every article in the magazine, whether it's about Toolbox or whether it's Schools of Thought or something, you're providing a point of view which provides value to somebody. I think of, like, even though we have a column that says Toolbox, I think of everything as a tool that we can use. So even if it's an industry article or Business Matters, you're going to you think about the readers of this magazine. They're people like us practicing market research, and vendors and suppliers and end clients. What do we need to know? What are we interested in knowing, and how to make our jobs better? Those are the questions you should be thinking about if you want to write an article. Like, what would be valuable to that readership? Does that explain it?
Sure does. Thank you.
Dean, where do we sign up to receive the publication?
So if you want to get a hard copy, you have to be a paying member. Once you're a paying member, you automatically you don't have to do anything. You just have to be a member. If you want to see it online for free, it's there all the time, qrcaviews.org.
Okay, thanks.
And you can read it anytime. Then there's past issues there too. So if anybody's interested if they're toying around this idea of publishing something, go to qrcaviews.org and look at past issues, and you can look at the individual columns and individual topics, and that will give you an idea of how to write an article, how to structure it. Even if that, we're still going to help you through the process. We're going to guide you through the process. But if you want to look to see what an article looks like, go there, and you can see every issue we've ever published.